I am gonna prepare for this as thoroughly as Ben Affleck prepares for a role.
From Ben Affleck quitting DC, Batgirl movie cancelled only moment before release, to Ezra Miller once getting arrested for various reasons. Why DCEU is on the verge of death? Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but ever since DCEU started 9 years ago with Man of Steel, DC has made some pretty good movies and a lot of ugly ones. It's not just one or two of their movies that failed, but their entire extended universe has failed. Unlike their competitor, Marvel can be said to be perfect either. They also release bad movies now and then, but when you zoom out, they are very successful as an extended universe. Although DC really dominates with their animated films, but the same cannot be said for their feature films. However, we have to appreciate their consistency though. Consistency in making bad movies back to back. Alright, for real though. Why DC have such a bad track record? Is it because the endless drama both in front and behind the screen? Let's get into it.
Superman is the most powerful, but also the most vulnerable superhero you can imagine.
When The Man of Steel started the DCEU 9 years ago, the film, directed by Snyder, was met with a pretty good criticism, apart from a few minor issues, such as Superman's violent behavior and the tone of the film, which was considered to be too dark. Just because their first movie was quite successful, everyone thought DC was onto something. 3 years later, they come up with a movie Batman vs Superman, which was also created by Zack Snyder. With the same director and character, plus a new one namely Batman, the hype was real. At this point, the MCU is already 5 years old, and they've become the new standard for superhero movies, which Snyder didn't bother to follow. Combined with the image of Batman, which is very different from the Christopher Nolan's, it is clear that Batman vs Superman were not able to live up to the expectation. At that time, the problem that Warner faced was that they wanted a vast universe, but no one set an overreaching plan. Snyder does have a multi-picture vision, but he doesn't build a story beyond his own. They know what they want, but they have no idea how to get there. In the absence of a planner, they have no plan.
Damn it!
From here, DCU continues to get a bad reputation. They brought in Geoff Johns to oversee the project, but he couldn't build the extended universe like their rival Marvel. The situation got worse when they released Suicide Squad, which drew some really bad critics. The director, David Ayer, then blamed the studio for their interference. But in the midst of this chaos, there is a bright light, a candle in the dark, and that light is Wonder Woman, which has been met with overwhelmingly positive critics and fan reception. Compared to its competitor, Wonder Woman's first week revenue beat out Iron Man, Guardian of the Galaxy, first Thor and the Captain America films, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, making it the 10th highest grossing films of 2017. Wonder Woman's success, however, didn't last long, as DC's reputation fell off a cliff again when Justice League was released with their notorious chaotic production. At that time, the friction between Snyder and the studio was no secret, but no one knew for sure what happened. Disaster for the DCEU happened when Snyder lost his daughter and decided to step out from production of Justice League. Then, Warner brought in Joss Whedon to finish the movie, and it became a major disaster that almost wiped out the DCEU. Okay, again, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the truth is DC got a very bad response. In response to this, Geoff Johns and John Burke were replaced by Jim Lee and Walter Hamada in 2018. This was at the same time that AT&T required Time Warner and renamed it Warner Media. Great news for DC fans because DC movies released after this purchase are some of the best DC movies ever released. DC shifts from a connected universe to a universe with a looser connection or none at all. The film seems to stand on their own, like Aquaman, Shazam, and the Joker. This also happened when Marvel Universe began to be criticized for pushing their extended universe too much after the endgame. And after that, there was COVID.
And COVID.
which occurred at the same time as the launch of Wonder Woman 1984, Bird of Prey, and Suicide Squad 2, which, as you guessed, was not very good. Following the release of Justice League in 2017, many fans supported a massive campaign with the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut. Finally, Warner Bros. Pictures gave up and budgeted $70 million for the Snyder version of Justice League. Snyder Cut did get a good response from the fans, but the studio was clearly not happy with the films and was only moved by the pressure from the fans. Unfortunately, this also shows what happens if the studio gives the director a freedom to work, and this argument is strengthened in the production of Batman solo films. Initially, the film will be worked on by Ben Affleck, but before he could finish the script, he decided to step down as the director and writer of the Batman film. Ben Affleck out, Matt Reeves in. And you know what he did. First, he brought Batman out of the DCEU, turned a handsome vampire into the Batman, embraced the dark aspect as much as possible both figuratively and literally, and voila, it became a very good movie. There is one more reason why the Batman film was successful, and that's because DC once again did not interfere in the making of this film, aka the director can do whatever he wants. This clearly proves that something is wrong with the production of the DCEU. Now, here we are today, with Warner Media joining Discovery. Guess what happens next? Discovery wastes no time building bad reputation, with Batgirl cancelled just moments before completion and many projects put on hold. And don't forget Ezra Miller, who is acting up again, with this movie still not done yet after God knows how many iterations. Not to mention, Walter Hamada, their leader, also rumored to be out. And then there is Henry Cavill, who rumored to be out as well, but then he confirmed his comeback. During the making of this video, the latest DC film, Black Adam, just released in theaters. And there is nothing new. It got a mixed reviews, as you guessed it, with Variety and Yahoo News stated the film received negative reviews. I have nothing to say here because I haven't seen the movie myself, but remember that this movie was delayed for almost 1 year, with the production of this movie has actually been discussed since 2006, but they started to seriously work on this film in 2017. I will not go into detail about all the behind-the-scene drama, but it's there, although it's not as severe as Justice League. With studio disruption, changing ownership and leadership, and a bit of bad luck, it's hard for DC projects to find their momentum. From their story point of view, DC never invests in their character. They rely solely on their brand recognition. The Flash, for example, the first time we saw his character do anything was in Justice League. And in an extended universe, Justice League should be the pinnacle movie where everything is built into, not a movie where you put a new character in. The Iron Man, for example, needs 3 whole movies to build his character before any major crossover. And imagine cram all those into just one movie. The result is you get 4 hours movie. And even that is not enough. The new Flash movie is not a character-driven movie either. They almost like, well, people already know the Flash and how he can be fast, so why do we need to spend hundreds of millions just to make a movie where everyone already knows the story? Right now, their current rival Marvel returns to ground zero with their story. So I think this could be a good moment for DC to restart, forget what has happened over the past 10 years and build its character and their story from scratch. It will probably take another 10 years, but I think it's better than trying to recover from the failure that have occurred. So there you have it. That's what I thought about the whole DC shenanigans. What about you? Should DC restart from scratch, or should they forget about the extended universe and focus on making stand-alone films like Joker and Batman? Leave your opinion in the comment below, and thanks for watching Film Facts Journal.